Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming tonight. I guess first, before we get started, I'd like to thank a few people, honor a few people. I believe we've got 4 former Hall of Famers here tonight. Greg Macy, Bonita Sowers, I'm not sure if she's still here or not. Margaret Sturza, family of Larry Five Coat. Also, I'd like to thank, not sure if your Stovall family is here, but thank Dallas Stovall and Brightwood. They graciously donated as they do so much stuff for this community. The courtside tickets to the Blazer game, and I believe Margaret told me they raised $2,000 selling those tickets to help fund the dinner tonight, the plaques for this great event. So we can acknowledge Brightwood also. Just real briefly, Evan Brown, current AD, longtime coach. Margaret Sturza, former coach, AD. They're the ones that came up with this. Most of you, if this is your first night here, this is our 3rd annual Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It started on if I get this right, I think a road trip, going to a track meet. 4 or 5 years ago, they came up with the plan. They talked about it and basically came up with the whole thing on a 3 or 4 hour trip one day. And I'd like to thank both of them. I think the community really appreciates this event. The inductees do. It's a neat addition for Madras High School athletics. So thank you. With that, we will start the ceremony with our first guest of honor, Joe Piedmont. At 6'4", Joe was a high-scoring post player for Coach Ole Johnson's White Buffaloes. He was a 4-year starter. He helped the White Buffaloes to a 25-1 record during the 1960-61 season, which culminated in a state title, the first team state title for the school in the sport. Joe led the team in scoring with an average of 14.8 points per game and rebounding at just under 10 boards a game. These stats were compiled with Joe spending many fourth quarters resting on the bench during blowout victories. At the state tournament, he set the 1-game scoring mark of 33 points. He then tied for the high point player of the tournament with 69 points and was named first team all-tournament. Joe capped his senior season by being named first team All-State for 2A schools. He was offered a books and tuition basketball scholarship to University of Oregon. However, a serious arm injury during the summer following his senior year ended his athletic career. Now a member of the Madras High School Athletic Hall of Fame, Joe Piedmont.
Evan, thank you. John, thank you. Nobody told anybody that I played basketball, but I also kept the stats. That's why you see all those numbers that I had. Nobody really knew that until I told somebody one time. So, first of all, I'd like to thank and congratulate Evan and the White Bucks for a fantastic. But obviously, the second half team looked like to me, and so congratulations again. That was a good game to watch. They say you can never go home again, but maybe I think tonight might have proved those people wrong. We live in Coeur d'Alene now, and I was trying to think of what I could say tonight and have some meaning for people. And the only word that kept coming back into my mind was thanks. So, first of all, I would like to thank my parents for picking Madras as their chosen community. I had a great time when I was growing up. I don't know, but it bad things that I did, so I really enjoyed it. We didn't have television until I was, I think, a freshman in high school, so when I look at my grandkids, I kind of like to put them back in my shoes a little bit. I don't think that's going to happen. So anyway, that was fortuitous that I happened to wind up at Madras. I'd also like to thank the school system. My dad was the AD for the high school, and my mother was the secretary, so we were very much a family-oriented school family. And all the teachers I had were excellent. They taught you what you needed to know. They ranged all over the place, from Miss May, was my 4th grade teacher, and insisted that I go get my eyes checked because I couldn't see the blackboard. And to Howard Gillis, Steve, his son is here someplace, for Steve, and to kind of preparing me and a lot of other people who took journalism to move to that next step in our career. And I do have to say that I really had a big crush on Miss May. I don't know. It was kind of fun. I also like to thank the community. I don't know whether it's always the same towns, but the community was just as active as they could be with the things that we did and the wins that we had. They weren't our wins, they were the community's wins. And they supported us in every way that I can remember. I didn't remember that there was a caravan of about 95 cars that came out to the Crooked River Gorge Bridge to caravan us back into Madras. So I think I had to read that in the Madras Pioneer before I knew what was going on that. And the other thing that happened was if you won the game, and you guys will have to check me, I think if we won a game, we got to go to the Dairy Queen and have a free dilly bar. That was always fun. And most importantly, I want to thank the friendships of my teammates. You know, it's always fun to win rather than to lose, but sometimes you don't realize that until you get to be our age and to know that what you really got was the friendship and the love and the appreciation and the things that carried on throughout the rest of your life. Some of these people I have seen off and on. Some of them I haven't seen for a long time, till last March in Coos Bay. So it was a fun thing to do, and a fun thing to do with a lot of people that are still friends. I'm awfully sorry that Gary Morrow and Vernon Denwash are not here tonight. Vernon was a cross between the Energizer Bunny and the Jackrabbit. He could run faster, move quicker, steal more balls than anybody I remember. And he really added a lot to the team. Gary was the captain of the ship. He stood out there and did the playmaking, told us what to do and what not to do. Kind of making change calls like they do in the NFL today. So I wish both of those guys could be here. And I guess I want to just thank Evan and Tom and Gary and Tony and Satch and all the people that participated in putting this together. I think this is a great thing, and it certainly will be a great memory for me and I'm sure for everybody else that's here tonight. So thanks again for this.
Spud Smith was among the best all-around athletes in Madras High School history. Certainly among its best football players and wrestlers, and was also a 3-year varsity baseball player. With Spud starting both running back and on defense, the Buffalo program of the mid-'80s qualified for state twice and missed the playoffs in a tiebreaker a 3rd season. Quick and powerful running back and defensive stalwart, Spud was the Greater Oregon League's first-team running back as a junior. As a senior, he was a Greater Oregon League Player of the Year, earning both first-team running back and linebacker honors. The following summer, Spud was the MVP of the 1986 East-West Shrine game, scoring 3 TDs, compiling 136 total yards on offense and helping the East to a victory. A four-year varsity wrestler, Spud was a district champion in his junior and senior years. As a sophomore, he finished third in state, then took fourth in state as a junior. As a senior, he went 30-2, losing only to Rick Evans of Burns once during the season and once in state finals. Spud beat Evans to win the Greater Oregon League title. Spud was also standout catcher for the Buffaloes, and now is a member of the Madras High School Athletic Hall of Fame.
I'm not going to be able to talk nearly as much as Joe did. But I just want to say thank you. It's a special evening, and I'm privileged to be here with my family and friends, the ones that used to come and watch all the games and sports and stuff, so that's nice. And I'd actually like to thank the Induction Committee for recognizing the accomplishments of my high school career. And so that means a lot to me. I'm honored by it. So, and all the other, outstanding athletes here tonight. It's an honor for me to be able to go into the hall with great athletes like this. So that means a lot to me. And so, again, thank you. I appreciate it.
Charles Nathan, an undersized but powerful forward for the White Buffaloes basketball squad, and helped the team to the Big School State Basketball Tournament 1954. Probably the biggest underdog achievement in Madras High School history. After finishing fourth in league, the team surprising the other larger Central Oregon schools in the district. At the state tournament, the Buffs shocked sports fans by winning their first two games, including a victory over Portland's Benson High School. Charles' rebounding and tough presence were keys to the White Buffalo victories. Charles was also an outstanding four-year varsity player at MHS, a star on both the offensive and defensive line. The powerful athlete went on to play both basketball and football at Willamette University in 1955 and 56 before being drafted into the military. Charles was also a standout player when he toured with the Warm Springs Magpies men's basketball team. Tonight, it's an honor to induct into the Madras High School Athletic Hall of Fame, Charles Nathan.
Well, it's a surprising evening for me. Since 1954, when I was last when I graduated from high school here. And that's quite some time ago. And when I came up here and they notified me that I was going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame here, it surprised the heck out of me. I went to Willamette University. I did get some awards down there, but I never did expect that long of a time in between to get something from mentorship. So that was the biggest big surprise. The people I've played with were a magnificent bunch of boys. Bill Mortimer, Roger Diddock, Sam Morby, and Van Mason Jr. And we when we went to state, it was surprising how easy we got there, because it was surprising everyone in here in Central Oregon when we went to state, because we got down there, and the biggest prize when we beat Benson. And Benson was one of the best teams there, but then we had Roger Diddock broke his ankle, And it kind of went bad for all of us because we didn't, we're so used to playing with each other that it kind of upset us when he got injured at that time. So I'm very proud to be a member of Madras Union High School alumni. Thank you.
Tasha Wilson is a do-it-all, high-energy, tenacious point guard for the White Buffaloes and one of the best soccer players in the history of the Lady Buffs program. Her finest achievement as a Madras High School athlete was leading the Cinderella White Buffaloes to the state basketball title her senior year. That season, Tasha was a Tri-Valley League's Player of the Year, a first-team All-State selection, and second-team All-State tournament. As a junior, Tasha was also first-team All-League in basketball and was honorable mention All-League as a sophomore. A four-year varsity soccer standout, Tasha led Madras High School to the state playoff appearances her junior and senior season and was named first-team All-League and second-team All-State her senior year. Tasha received an athletic scholarship to Corbin University in Salem, where she had a stellar basketball career, earning All-League honors her junior and senior season, and finishing her career among the top 10 in career scoring, assists, rebounding, and steals. She also played soccer for 2 years at Corbin. Tonight, she's inducted into the Madras High School Athletic Hall of Fame. Tasha Wilson.
This is a lot harder than free throw. Don't ask about three-point shots. First, I just want to, it's going to be mostly like Joe's, just a lot of thanks. But I do want to thank God just for his giving me the passion just to play sports. It's always been something that I've enjoyed, and I just want to thank him for his grace and giving me the ability and the health just to play all these years. I want to thank my family for their love and support. They chased me all over Oregon, all the way down to Henley, all the way up to Ontario. I don't think my dad missed a game. I've seen him with his headband on, sitting in the corner, keeping my stats. I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee just for this honor. Being an athlete at Madras High School was one of the best experiences I've ever had. The pep bands, just being from a small community where there's one high school and everybody showing up for the games on Friday nights. I think we usually had more fans at our away games than the home team, especially in the Tri-Valley League. So thank you to all the fans. The Hall of Fame committee, again, just for the honor, I think I already said that, but the induction, it really is, I'm proud and honored just to be a Madras High School athlete. I want to thank my teammates and my coaches, especially, just for their grace, for putting up with me. I could be a little fiery, and thankfully they still talk to me to this day and love me. But couldn't have done it without them. That 2003 run at the state championship, it's probably the highlight of my basketball career. I wish the bracket was still hanging up in the gym. I'm gonna track it down. I also want to thank my husband for beating me in a horse one time and keeping me humble. I'm really honored to be a part of this class and the athletes up here, and yeah, proud to be from Madras. Thank you so much.
dominant. There was no better way to describe the Madras High School boys basketball team in 60-61. The Bucks finished 25-1. Their only loss was to 1A Bend High School, 76-68, in the late season game played in Bend. Coach Ole Johnson's White Buffaloes essentially throttled the rest of their opponents, including 1A teams Crick County and Redmond. Playing in the 2A division, the Bucks' closest game during the season was a 16-point blowout. Madras had victories of 53, 43, and 40 points during the league season, and regularly won by more than 30 points. Long before a three-point line, the team averaged more than 70 points a game. With two All-Staters, post player Joe Piedmont and forward Greg Macy, leading the scoring attack, point guard Gary Moe keying the playmaking, the Bucks were a fast-breaking offensive machine. They beat Mackay 2 straight to win the district playoffs, then headed to Coos Bay for state. At state, the #1 ranked Bucks beat Henry 80-72 in the opener, then Sherwood 72-61 in the quarterfinals. Rarely challenged during the season, the Bucks found themselves down by 8 at halftime of the championship game against Coquille. But the Buffaloes dominated the second half to win 63-51. The title was the first team state championship in Madras High School history. The squad's bus was met by a caravan of about 95 vehicles at the Crooked River Gorge to escort them back to Madras. It was also the last Madras High School game that Johnson would coach. Ole left to become the head coach at Wilson High School in Portland after 10 years at the helm of Madras High School basketball. Tonight, we induct into the Hall of Fame the 1960-61 boys basketball team. Can all the members of the squads please come up here to the front of the stage to accept the honors and to speak for them as last year's Hall of Fame inductee, Greg Macy.
Okay, we're going to holler some names out and give certificates out. Gary Galbraith, right there in front. Bill Stevenson. Bill Tino. Young Joe Piedmont. I'm going to have a special thing to say about Greg Leslie, Don Clark, Alan Stewart, is Birmingham watches we're really thrilled to have Gary Moe has passed away. We've missed him. Charlie Hill wasn't able to attend tonight, as was Ron Tolley. So those are the missing members of White Buffalo. So okay, yeah, no, you're fine. I was advised that you guys could say anything you want after, on your own behalf. But on behalf of the team, we'd first thank the committee for selecting us. As Joe has indicated, we've had some marvelous times. I just want to kind of encapsulate what we're doing here. It's been said between 1951 and 1961, there was part of the whole fabric of Madras High School was a brand of basketball that Ole Johnson brought to town, fresh out of his college times in Linfield. Coach Johnson was honored 2 years ago. His 54 team was honored. And today we have been honored, and we were the last team to play for Coach Johnson. And we won the tournament and stood at this kind of the top of the heap at the time. So we've introduced people, and I'm going to have some comments about Ole at the end of a few remarks. So Ole couldn't make it today, and it was his choice. And it was kind of, we're standing here a little bit perplexed, but I can tell you he loves his community. He's sorry he ever left this community. And he is just emotionally overwhelmed by the fact that first they've honored him for his service here, and he was kind of afraid to face us guys because we're gonna roast him a little bit anyway. But we honored him. He was ready to come Thursday, but we all talked to him on the phone. And at the end, I've got a thing I'd like everybody to sign here, and we'll get something back to Coach. So anyway, as far as this fabric goes, we guys standing up here, we played the game. We played the game, but that wasn't our team. Our team was, there's a bunch of them sitting out here. All these cheerleaders are here. The cheerleaders are here tonight. And it's actually a thrill to have them here. Margie's come all the way from Washington, D.C. So, and Craig Leslie and Dennis Miller, they're no different than all of us. They helped us with the team, they managed things, and they've just been a part of the fabric all this time. And as I look out here, our classmates on anybody that had that experience within that time frame kind of understands what we mean. So it was truly a fun time and whatnot. I'll state a few personal memories, and I'll let anybody else state anything else. But senior year, my biggest motivation, we got a large milkshake in the DQ for every game we won. So that was motivation. And losing to Ben is exactly what Coach wanted to do. It wasn't even a scheduled meeting. We'd won all these games by all these points and whatnot. Coach thought we were a little big-headed. So I don't know, was it on a Thursday or something? It was an off day or something. And we just met in Redmond or Ben, or I can't remember where it was. But they beat us by 8 points, and Coach was just thrilled. He said, I knew they were going to beat you, and they needed to. And he wanted to tune us up for that was kind of late, about this time of year, late February. So he wanted to tune us up for the state championship, and we needed it because we met 3 tough teams. And we ended up winning the championship. Sitting here with Denny, unless you want to tell this story about Hefner, he just reminded me that we were 40 points ahead at halftime in Hefner. And the Hefner team just started mauling us, just literally taking us out. And it almost started to brawl. So Coach just came in at halftime, he says, put your street clothes on, we're going home. The story, something like that. And they finally kind of cooled the Jets, and we finished the game. But there were all these kind of crazy things on the side. Burns was kind of a tough town to go into. Piedmont almost got us in trouble with somebody, but the way it was, we always telling stories on people. We're walking across the street after dinner one night and heading for the motel, and some of the townies came right up the street in a car and just moved very slowly right through us. We had, they would have run over us and all, and Piedmont just turned around and just whacked that window of that driver. Yeah. So about 6 or 7 guys jump out and we head for our room. Then he was sitting right beside us. Joe and I had about 5 or 6 people in the room trying to take us out when Coach saw it and kind of broke it up. So those are all fun experiences, and we all lived through it. There's kind of a living memory that I want to share with Coach Johnson. Coach Johnson and Ramona have got absolute ties to this town to the day. You ask them about who's on first and where people are and who's married to whom. They know. It's absolutely amazing. I see Coach about once a month or once every 6 weeks, and he invites me over, and Barbara and Judd Hyatt come over, and we always have a good time with Coach. But I just wanted to relate the fact that he brought this fabric, he brought this brand of basketball to Madras, and we were just the recipients of this kind of brand of basketball. And in my closing remarks, I wrote a poem for Coach in 2012 and gave it to him. And I think it kind of encapsulates at least my thoughts about it, and maybe the team's thoughts as well. And the name of this poem is called "Branded Buffalo." A lanky Linfield lad, fresh from his college sport, blew into Madras with a Dakota gal to coach on the high school court. What happened next is a memory now to a bunch of small town boys, but shooting hoops became the thing to do, and Coach made believers with purpose and poise. Now his brand was registered in '54 when the Buffs first stepped on the scene. They surprised state schools of any size, and they came home with more tournament dreams. '57 saw a well-seasoned team groomed in Johnson's ball shop back to the tournament with hopes running high. They were one strike from the state's top spot. The last wave of players to carry Ole Johnson's B-ball brand ended the '61 season on top of the winter stand. Some 50 years from that '61 team, a Buffalo still wanders the plains, and in the hearts of all those small town boys, the OJ brand still vividly remains. So what I made for the coach that is out there, I made an OJ brand. I would like to everybody would like to just sign the back of this poem, and we'll package this up, and a bunch of us will get to the coach as quickly as we can. So those are my reflections. Fun times. Thank you, committee, for the work you do putting these things together. Who wants to say anything? Anybody got it? Come on. Huh? Okay, we've got Tom Clark's got something to say.
Yeah, I just want to take a minute to talk a little bit about my experience in Madras. As everyone at least here knows, I moved from North Carolina inadvertently. We came out for vacation with my sister, my mom's first grandchild. And I told all my friends in North Carolina, I'll see you in a few weeks. And came to Madras and never went back. And ended up enrolling and starting Madras High School. It was such a wonderful experience, except for the first football practice, in which I can remember to this day the words and the look. I went up to Bob Chard afterwards in the locker room, and I have no idea what it was I was trying to say, but I knew it was something that was important. I got Bob's attention, and I was talking to him very closely, and I looked at him and I said about 6 or 8 sentences. And Bob looked back at me and with a very straight face said, "I can't understand a word you're saying." And that's where I recognized that, oh well, I'm not in Kansas anymore. Kansas being North Carolina.
Tom, say it just like you said it back then. Nobody here will understand it either.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Oh, sorry. At any rate, I wanted to thank this community and the people, because the welcoming in of a stranger and quickly giving some sense of identity was just such an important step in my life And it was something that I will always remember Madras for and what happened to me here. So thank you very much to the Madras community and to my friends and teammates.
Bob Nelson was a three-sport high school athlete in Napa, Idaho, and went to Boise Junior College on a basketball scholarship. After college, he became an industrial arts teacher and coach, coming to Madras High School in 1964. In 1966, Bob started the boys cross-country program. It would soon become a powerhouse, finishing either first or second at state 6 years in a row, the most dominant run of any sport in Madras High School history. The Buffs finished second in 1968, then rolled to a championship in 1969. Bob's teams followed the title with 3 more in a row. The 4-title run would end in 1973 when the Buffs finished second. He personally designed the iconic course at Madras High School, which included a run over the rickety Willow Creek Bridge and could be watched nearly in its entirety from the stadium bleachers. A big man, Bob was known for being quiet, slow to respond, owning a calming demeanor, but he had a knack for getting each athlete to perform their best. While standouts like Bill Cram and Dan Miller each guarded 3 state titles, leading the way, it was their team depth that made them dominate. He believed in the potential of each runner and getting the most out of every young athlete. Bob's practices were key to building the depth and the team attitude. He was famous for taking his squad 10 miles or so into the country, dropping them off, and then seeing you back at school. The athletes ran as a unit, it was said, because they didn't want to get lost. Tonight, one of the school's finest coaches ever, Bob Nelson, is inducted into the Hall of Fame. Accepting Coach Nelson's honor is his daughter, Debbie.
Well, on behalf of my sisters and I, we just thank you for letting us honor the man that we influenced us quite greatly, and so many others. Dad was a coach, a father, a husband, and a friend, but mostly in his athletics, he was a champion of champions, a champion for champions. He saw the gift of his runners, even though they may not have recognized it themselves. He saw their potential and he called it out. Quiet, slow to respond, and calming demeanor. But us girls know that calm waters ran pretty deep. He always expected you to be the athlete or the person that he saw. So much that you started to believe in yourself. He cared really deeply for his runners and his athletes. I was a witness to many one-on-one encounters that he guys came over to talk to the dad, one-on-one. He really did work long hours on those courses, and I was a witness to walk through the terrain and watch him put the chalk marks down. And I remember one time really him being really frustrated when the sprinklers came on, threatening to take horses away. was always walking around and calculating the race with his clipboard in hand. And you thought he was very quiet, but to us girls, when we were there, he was giving us orders to run there and tell them that they need to move up 2 more spots. You know, tell them, yell at my guys at this corner, tell them they need to move up this and there. And yes, we were. Mary and I and Lisa were running on the courses. So. But he knew he was very reserved, but by looking at his face, you already knew that he knew his team had won. Cross country is an interesting sport. It's unique in a true team sport. You need great top runners, but you also need great bottom runners. Your last runner's placing could make or break you. He believed in every runner. 4 state championships was quite a feat, which Dad was proud of, but he was also interested in the development of his runners. He was always wanting to know what they were doing over the summer, what they were doing when they went to college, and how they were getting along. His favorite book that Dad shared with his runners is by Keith Lindhouse. It was called Father, Son in a 3-Mile Run. You can look it up on Amazon. I think you can get a copy. But the book expressed the value in having a supportive environment for kids to achieve and become successful in a difficult environment. My dad really valued that. He valued relationships and mentored others and took great joy in watching others grow and become successful. Thank you very much.
Debbie, thank you. I couldn't help but think, sitting there, how many people out here your folks probably touched. As I was sitting there, I was thinking 2 things I still use quite a bit. Your mom taught me how to read, your dad taught me how to weld. That's pretty I think there's probably a lot of people that remember both your folks and doing one of those things, so thank you. Keller Christensen had the most decorated football career of any Madras High School athlete. He not only made the varsity squad as a freshman, but earned all league honors as a running back. He was first-team running back and defensive player of the year, player for 3 consecutive seasons, earning offensive player of the year in a tough Tri-Valley Conference in both his junior and senior seasons. Keller is thought to be the career rushing leader at the school, amassing over 4,000 yards. Following his senior year, he played both the Shrine Game and the East-West Baseball All-Star Series. In basketball, though under 6 feet tall, Keller was a stellar rebounder. As a freshman, he was on the Buffalo team, then finished second at the state tournament. In 1997, he was also a leader on the baseball diamond. He was an absolute phenomenon in the weight room and set standards that would be referred to as the Keller Club for anyone who got close to them. Keller played football for 2 years at Saddleback Junior College, earning MVP honors both years. He then transferred to Oregon State, earned a scholarship, and was a standout special teams player. Tonight, he takes his place in the Madras High School Athletic Hall of Fame, Keller Christensen.
I'm never going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame for public speaking, so bear with me. A lot of this is repeat. I'd like to thank the Madras Hall of Fame and the people involved in the process. I'm honored to be inducted with all the other athletes, a humbling part. It's very humbling to be part of this elite group. I mean, we just witnessed a team that played 59 years ago and their cheerleaders showed up. Second, I'd like to thank my parents, my mom and dad, for providing an incredible home and upbringing that taught me strong values. I'll always be grateful for that support. I'm truly amazed that my mother could have 4 children a year and a half apart, living 45 minutes from town, and all of us being successful three-sport athletes, not to mention 4-H band and more activities than I paid attention to. I often wonder how many hours they racked up my parents sitting on bleachers, although my dad barely sat. I'd like to apologize to my mom for not becoming a rodeo star or musician. But I know she loves me and I love her. My dad was a passionate man, and he was the foundation of what I've become, and I'm honored for him to be my father. There's a quick story about him at a wrestling district match just across here at Buffalo Dome with 2 kids battling to go to state, and there was a controversial call that he felt that it was his duty to go and tell the ref on how he screwed it up and why he screwed it up for his child not to go to state. But the whole funny thing about it is neither kid was from Madras. And Sturza can fill in the blanks since I think she escorted him out of the building. Others I'd like to thank is John Scheidman. He was a teacher, coach, and a friend, and I still consider him, in my eyes, one of the best coaches I've ever had the privilege of working with. His attention to detail, as you can see by some of the woodworking he does, and the skills and involvement in the community, from wood drafting programs that he's built to the passion and drive as a coach. Thanks, John. Evan Brown. This man was renowned for conditioning. I remember that beyond just going to state football, it allowed me to miss a few jump rope sessions. And those sessions were considered brutally demoralizing to any teenage participant. I realized that these conditioning sessions taught me much more about myself and team members around me. I realized once I got over the hurdle of thinking that I'm going to die, my body had no problem with the activity. It was my mind. These team building lessons taught me how to perform when I was tired, stressed, and taught me to lead through all obstacles. Thanks, Evan, for giving me that mental toughness. I remember when I was a freshman and came to play for Evan, and it was it's a big step, even if you have confidence, to step into a caliber team that was and find your role as a freshman. And once he told me that my role was to beat up on John Close and Scotty Riddle, I felt very comfortable about doing that. The only problem with this mental toughness that he taught me is that it doesn't go away, and my body is not getting any stronger. Another man I'd like to thank that I wish he was here today for me to tell him this, but Larry Fivecoat. This man took me under his wing after my father passed, and I remember the first time I met him, I couldn't help think, this Kenny Rogers lookalike sure knows his sports. He took me on recruiting trips all over various states, helping me find the best fit for my future. He was an advocate and definitely sold my abilities to whomever would listen. He was an accomplished storyteller, and never forgetting the name and getting to know him better, I realized that he was the real deal. He is going to be missed. In closing, every day I try to emulate the people I've mentioned and many more I've forgotten to mention. all of you guys here, I appreciate the support, and this is what makes a community special and thrive. I feel it's my responsibility to pass these invaluable teachings on to my family, friends, and the community, just as they have done for me. Lastly, I want to thank all the people that have given to our youth, from Little League to high school activities, all these programs, and the people involved shape our wonderful community. My senior year, for my graduation party, my mother sent out an invitation saying, "It took a village to raise me," and I would like to formally thank that village.
Keller for not being a very good public speaker. That was pretty good. Well, that sums it up, our third annual induction ceremony. I'd like to add on a little bit what Greg Macy talked about so well here a while ago. When I came in tonight, I noticed, stopped and looked at and if none of you have done it, stop and look at that woodwork that John Scheidemann helped or built, where all the plaques go out here in the lobby, and I looked at wanted to look and see what Ole Johnson, what he was up there for already, and it just blows me away that he's up there as a coach, was inducted. He has 2 teams after tonight that have been up there that he's been inducted with, and 4 athletes that played under him are up there. Ole couldn't make it tonight. I think they're videoing this. I'm sure he'll get to see it. Coaches make a positive impression on so many people, and I think it's safe to say it's pretty hard to grasp how many people that Ole has touched in his 10 years he was here at Madras. So Ole, when you see the video, a lot of people wish you could have been here tonight. Thanks for your impact you've had on Madras High School athletics, for putting Madras on the map for basketball for years to come, nearly 70 years ago. I too was a little disappointed. You have some explaining to do because of a mutual friend, Bill Walker. I heard when the rumor started going around that you couldn't get here, I told Bill, I said, call Ole, and we're in the cattle business and we haul cattle around. And I said, you tell Ole, I said, we transport a lot of cattle that aren't in very good shape all around the Northwest, and we do a pretty good job with it. And even with that, Ole turned me down. So I'm kind of disappointed. We're great to go get him. Didn't have the faith. But anyways, thank you all for coming tonight. This is our biggest turnout we've had in 3 years. We appreciate it. I hope they come back again. Thanks to the athletes, all the inductees that came here tonight. A lot of you made a long trip. Please drive safe on the way home. And thank you all for coming.
Just so everyone knows, we will have the video from tonight's ceremony uploaded to YouTube. So if you have friends, family, those type of things that would like to see it, you're more than welcome to share it there. You can always find the link on the Madras Boys basketball page. We'll get that up on there in the next couple of weeks. Also, Wild Wing Station.